The diner's neon sign flickered in the late afternoon sun, buzzing faintly against the backdrop of a quiet street. Inside, the smell of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the sweet aroma of apple pie. It was supposed to be a safe place, a corner where people came to laugh, share meals, and escape their troubles for a while. But not everyone found comfort there. Seated at a small table near the window was Lily. 17 years old, her body bore the weight of a struggle she hadn't asked for. Braces supported her legs, and every movement required effort. She tried to enjoy her soda, tapping her fingers nervously against the straw, pretending not to notice the glances from the corner. A group of young men had been watching her since she arrived, their smirks growing wider with every passing second. It happened fast. One of them, a boy with slicked back hair and a cruel smile, stood and walked past her table. He leaned down, whispered something cruel about her legs, and slapped the tray of food from her table to the floor. The sound of glass shattering silenced the diner. Lily froze, her face flushing with shame as laughter erupted from the bully. She bent down awkwardly to gather her things, her braces creaking with each movement. Her hands shook so badly she dropped fork twice. The boys clapped mockingly, egging each other on. Maria, the waitress, bit her lip. She wanted to step in, but fear held her back. Everyone in town knew those boys belonged to powerful families. Anyone who crossed them faced harassment, vandalism, even threats. Customers averted their eyes, pretending to be busy with their plates. Lily was alone in a sea of people. Her heart ached. Why was kindness so rare? She remembered her father's words. A man she lost to illness 2 years earlier. Never let the cruelty of others make you believe you're less. You were born with strength most people will never know. But it was hard to hold on to those words when humiliation burned so deeply. For nearly an hour she sat there in silence, pushing the cold food around her plate. The bullies stayed, laughing loudly, reminding her with every glance that she was powerless. Lily wanted to leave, but her pride wouldn't let her. If she walked out now, she'd give them the victory they craved. Then came the sound. A low rumble at first, like distant thunder. The ground beneath the diner seemed to tremble as several motorcycles pulled into the lot, their engines roaring in unison. Heads turned. Conversations halted. The bullies quieted, suddenly less sure of themselves. The door swung open, and in walked 6 bikers. They were a wall of leather, steel chains, and heavy boots. Their jackets bore patches from a motorcycle club known in the region. Men who looked like trouble to some, but protectors to those who knew better. They carried themselves with the kind of authority that made people straighten in their seats. At the center of them was their leader, tall, broad-shouldered, with a gray beard flowing over his jacket. His eyes scanned the room, sharp but not uncomfortable. When he saw Lily, her braces, her hunched posture, the tear tracks on her cheeks, something in him shifted. His gaze then flicked to the corner booth, where the bullies tried to look invisible. He walked straight to Lily's table and crouched down, his voice gentle, almost fatherly. "Hey, sweetheart, are you okay?" Lily's lips trembled. They hurt me." She gestured weakly toward the boys. The leader's jaw tightened. He stood slowly, and the diner seemed to shrink under his presence. His voice carried, low but deadly serious. "Which one?" Lily hesitated, her heart pounding, but she pointed at the booth. The bullies tried to laugh, muttering excuses, but their voices shook. The bikers surrounded the table like wolves circling prey. The leader leaned down until his shadow fell across them. "You think you're tough," he said, his voice a growl. "Picking on a girl who can't fight back doesn't make you men, it makes you cowards." One boy opened his mouth to speak, but the biker slammed his hand against the table, rattling the glasses. The boy flinched so hard he nearly fell from his seat. The leader didn't need fists. His presence was enough. "Stand up," he ordered. "Now." The boys obeyed, trembling. "You're going to apologize to her, loud enough for everyone here to hear it." They turned toward Lily, their faces pale. We're sorry," one stammered. The others echoed weak apologies, their voices breaking. Not good enough, the leader snapped. Say it like you mean it. This time, they spoke louder, clearer, shame burning in their cheeks. The entire diner watched, silent witnesses to the shift of power. When it was over, the bikers forced the boys to pick up the food they'd thrown and leave. They slunk out of the diner, tails tucked between their legs. The leader returned to Lily, his voice soft again. You don't deserve what they did. Don't you ever believe you're weak because of them? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small silver necklace shaped like angel wings. My sister wore this. She struggled like you and people were cruel to her too. She's gone now, but I keep her memory alive by making sure no one like her ever feels alone. Lily's tears spilled again, but this time they were different. Tears of gratitude, of release. Thank you, she whispered. Maria brought out a fresh meal on the house, placing it gently in front of Lily. The bikers stayed, chatting with her, telling stories that made her laugh through her tears. For the first time in a long while she felt like she belonged, like she mattered. When it was time to go, the leader placed a heavy hand on her shoulder. Whenever you feel small, remember you've got an army out there, and you're stronger than you think. The bikers roared off into the fading sunset, leaving behind silence and awe. The other customers, ashamed of their earlier inaction, approached Lily one by one. Some offered kind words, others small gestures of support. As she left the diner later that evening, Lily walked a little taller. Her braces still clinked with every step, but her spirit no longer bowed under their weight. She knew cruelty would not vanish overnight, but she also knew she was not alone, and that kindness and courage could rise when least expected. That night, before bed, Lily placed the necklace on her nightstand. She touched the silver wings and whispered, I'll keep going, I'll keep fighting, because in a world full of bullies, even the smallest acts of courage could light a fire strong enough to change everything.